How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to episode 38 of Free Thoughts from Freedom Chiropractic and Rehab. Thanks for joining us. If you happen to stumble across this video, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. This week's quote of the week comes from Hippocrates. He said, "Walking is man's best medicine." If you've spent any time in our office, you've either heard us say, or at least read on the back of our shirts, that movement is my medicine. I firmly believe this. And walking is probably the easiest form of movement that we can begin with. It's nice and simple. Put on some shoes, go for a walk. You can add challenge to it if you decide to jog or if you decide to carry some extra weight. But walking is a really simple entry point. And sometimes those simple entry points are the things that allow us to begin to build momentum towards movement goals. Okay, let's talk about health. In our last two episodes, we've discussed 2 of the 6 tests that Michael Easter recommended in terms of our fitness longevity tests. The first one was how fast can you take 4 flights of stairs? And the second test, we looked at how fast we recover from an exertion like taking 4 flights of stairs. Today, we're going to talk about another test that he uses called the 6-minute walk test. Very simple. How far can you walk in 6 minutes? Now, what I'm going to recommend is that you use one of the tracks at our local high school to do this test. Okay? What you'll do is you'll step onto that track, you'll start a watch, and you'll see how far you can travel in 6 minutes. The recommendations here, and the reason I recommend the track, is because it makes it a little bit easier in terms of measurement. Okay? The first break point is at 380 meters, which is almost 1 full lap. A full lap around the track is 400 meters. So almost a quarter mile. If you're under that, the suggestion is that your mortality rate is 1.5 times what it would be if you weren't. Okay, that's what the research is showing. The next step is to get to 450 meters, so another 50 meters beyond a full lap. That's supposed to be a relatively safe place to be. And if you're looking for really good cardiovascular health, you're looking to try to get to 600 meters, which would be a lap and a half. Okay, that's about 3.37 miles is what they say. The beauty of this test is that you can retake it at any time. It's really simple. Just drive to the high school, do a lap, do 2 laps, time yourself for 6 minutes, and we're just walking. Another advantage of that track is that it's flat. We're not walking up hills or anything along those lines. Okay, so the next time you're near your high school, or you're there for a kid's practice or something along those lines, take a lap. See how far you can go in that 6 minutes. Use that as a measurement, and then we can come back and retest. So use these tests as opportunities to see what kind of improvement you can make with those daily habits of walking or taking the stairs rather than the elevator. Those kinds of things can make a big difference in your health. Now it's time for some good news. This week I want to tell you the story of Christina's Corner from Pocatello, Idaho. I want to paint a picture. If you're my age or even a little younger, you probably remember going to the local video store on a Friday night to rent a movie. We did this for years until the rise of Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these other services that now we allow us to watch it from our homes. But just recently, the family-owned video store in Pocatello, Idaho had to close its doors. And it was a really challenging time for the store owner. See, the business wasn't necessarily thriving. But there was one customer who came in every day. And every day, Christina would come in and rent her video for the day and go home. Now, Christina was special, or is special. She has Down syndrome. She's largely nonverbal, but she would come in and interact with the staff and take home the video that she wanted to watch that night at home. So closing this store was really, really challenging for the owner. So Dave decided that when he was going to open the convenience store that he was opening in the place of this video store, he was going to keep a corner for Christina. So there is a corner of this convenience store that has video rentals. He kept some of Christina's favorites there. And they're there for that reason. They're there for Christina. So given the opportunity, this little gesture of kindness that Dave made towards Christina and her family has gone so far. This one small act of kindness from Dave has made a world of difference for Christina and her family. So what I want you to think about is, what can you do to be a little more like Dave, to make other people's lives a little bit easier?